I'm Jenny Wong and I'm a Dana Centre Project Events Coordinator at the Science Museum. So what that involves is thinking up crazy ideas and taking those ideas and making them into an actual event. So an immersive experience where people can come and have a chat, have a conversation, have a drink and maybe learn something along the way about science. My family are all doctors, medical doctors, and so I guess by default I thought I would become another doctor, so I chose to do science-based subjects, so 3 sciences at GCSE, biology, chemistry and maths at A-level. I ended up doing natural sciences at Cambridge. There was such a variety of courses you could do within that subject, so the variety element of it really appealed to me because I still wasn't sure how I wanted to turn out. So my first year I was like, well, it's okay, but it's kind of like doing A-levels all over again because you're doing 4 subjects and not really feeling them at all. So I then switched in my 3rd year to studying history and philosophy of science. And that was really refreshing because I got to use my brain and think a bit more critically about what actually science is. It was really interesting and totally opened my mind up to thinking in a new way. So yeah, so I really loved my 3rd year studies and went on to do a master's in that subject. The plan was to use my master's as a year where I could find out what actually sustained my interest. I met somebody from a think tank called Demos as part of my master's year. He was talking about the public value of science, and that really inspired me to think about how critical thinking about science could really impact on the way that people's everyday lives and how they incorporate science into their lives. I decided to apply for an internship at Demos, which is a 3-month kind of research-based placement. So it's a very inspiring place to work and very exciting because all these people are quite young and they all want to make a real difference, and that is quite infectious in a way. When I came to the end of that internship, I did want to stay on, but there were no vacancies. So I was back to not square one, but kind of okay, so now I really have to think about what I'm good at, what I want to do, where I want to be in 2 years or whatever. And I kind of tended to draw blanks for quite a lot of those questions at first. So I was out of work for about 2 months, and it was fine, but it was a little bit disheartening because I was applying for job after job after job and not getting any response. And then one of my friends was working in the Science Museum at the time, and she was forwarding me vacancies from the Science Museum, and I was at that point I was well, you know what, I will work anywhere and do anything. So I just applied for the job, which is in the team that I'm working in now. The job kind of had a lot of different elements that I thought were really me. So it had event experience, and I did a lot of events at university. It had science, it had variety, it was brilliant. I don't tend to look that far in the future, but over the next year or 2, I see myself maybe moving over into more museum exhibitions. I think with exhibitions you can apply a lot of the skills that I have from doing events, but in a slightly more permanent setting. I think that's kind of where I'd quite like to move towards.